it makes my work easier because he works very, very hard. So I'm just going to tidy up a bit here because I need some space. President Nazar, I'm going to start with some special presentations.
Yes, thank you. If I could ask Brad please to come up and introduce our next presentation.
This will be Paul Harris fellow presentation, and Brad's going to tell you about this person, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Paul Harris is about for some of you who may not know. It's an award given to those who have given $1,000 US, possibly over several years, you can accumulate it, to our international, our foundation. It can be also given by a sponsor that has given money in your name for extraordinary service. It's the most prestigious award in Rotary, and thereby named after our founder, Paul Harris. Now, a multiple Paul Harris Fellow will obviously be somebody who has given multiple times $1,000, and every time you do that, the color of your stone changes, so you get another stone. But giving money to the Rotary Foundation, once that person receives it, maybe actually, why don't we bring that person up, and then I can tell them what they're now involved in.
Thank you, District Governor Benny. If I might interject with a few words about this person, I think it's fitting at this time. The person we're about to call up is a charter member of our club. And you know, when I think about the character and the history of this club, this person's presence forms an important fabric of what our club has been and continues to be. And he's, in recent years, been a personal mentor of mine in ways, and I'm happy to call him a member of this club and a friend, Des Bulger.
Congratulations. Well, now you can become a part of many things. I'm just going to step back here because I want to have a look at you. No, yeah. So you now become a part of the eradication of polio, a partner in creating peace, a person who supports clean water and sanitation, where water is worth more than gold. It's measured in lives. It makes you someone who believes that all babies, children, and moms should have good medical services and microcredit and equal rights. You're a person now who is fighting AIDS, polio, malaria, and other diseases, and doing so much more than I could ever say just right now. But when you exchange cards, we'll talk more about it. So welcome, Des, to the union of thousands of Rotarians invested in making this world a much better place. Congratulations on behalf of Rotary International, District 5370, and your club, the Rotary Club of Spruce Grove. You are the newest Paul Harris Fellow in the world. We realize that Des is a multiple Paul Harris Fellow, so you've already been involved in doing all these things in the world. Can I put this on you?
You may.
All right, thank you.
A little lower.
He has no feeling below the neck.
He's already watching that.
There you go. Thanks again. Good.
Thank you very much.
I think we'll do that.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Congratulations, Des. And we have one more presentation. I know this is kind of more from last year, but I thought it was appropriate and fitting that we have our district governor here. So if I could ask Angus to come, please, and
Perfect.
for a word and receive the award.
Now, each year what happens is a club, if they follow all of the rules, they receive a presidential citation from Rotary International signed by the international president. And last year, this club reached that status, and I know they will again next year. And it's signed by Sakuchi Tanaka, just an amazing president. It says, "Peace through service, awarded to the Rotary Club of Spruce Grove, Angus Mackenzie, President, for actively working to achieve peace through service." Congratulations.
Congratulations to the club. This is not for me, this is for you guys. And again, thank you very much for allowing me to serve the club in that capacity this past year.
You know, serving in a leadership capacity role through your executive and through chairs of the committee that I met today, it's an honorable commitment that you're all making, and I commend each and every one of you as you stand. I would like to leave your present president, Nizar, with a small gift from your district governor and from the home club, my home club, the Rotary Club of Edmonton-Glenora. It's a reproduction of a watercolor my club commissioned, and it's called Matart Nights. It's an artist from Saskatchewan. His name is Robert Sinclair. Now, I might add, I did not frame this Nizar, and the reason I didn't frame it is because when I got the price of the framing, I thought we can vaccinate a lot of kids. So hopefully you will frame it, and if you'd like to just pull it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
I'm thrilled to be here. I had an opportunity to have earlier this morning to have an executive meeting, and I thought I was at the Rotary Club meeting because there were so many of you, and you're all engaged and involved, and I was just so impressed with what I'm learning about what this club has done and is doing. The conference that we had a few weekends ago, I think was one of the best times I've had in a long time, and I wondered how many of you attended that conference, had that opportunity. I know Nizar was there. Who else was there? Brad was there. Yes, I know that. Okay, so, you know, Randy over there is going to show a slide a little later on when I'm finished, and we'll just give you a little piece of what that conference was all about. So I love how Rotary is so different, but that's what makes our achievements as Rotarians possible. It's that power of our difference that led me to the theme of our conference, and that is Imagine All the People. And imagine all the clubs in our district, 62 plus Interact and Rotaract clubs just popping up, we're bursting at the seams. And imagine all the different abilities and the wisdom, the perspectives and the ideas inside each and every one of you and inside each and every one of those clubs. So that's what I want to chat with you just a bit about this afternoon, and it's the harnessing of that power of everyone here throughout our community in our part of Northern Alberta, which is District 5370, to make an even bigger impact as Rotarians. So first of all, I'd like to share with you my own story about why I joined Rotary. I was asked to join Rotary by a fabulous woman in my life for many years. And it was one of the busiest times in my life. You know those 12 to 14-hour days that I know a lot of us know? And complicated because you're wearing a lot of responsibility hats. You're a parent, you're a mom, and you're a sister, and so on and so forth, and you have your business. And I had a preconceived idea about Rotary because, remember, I've been a Rotarian for almost 20 years, so it was basically a men's club. But I decided if Vi is inviting me, I'll go. What I found so amazing that morning at 7 o'clock at the breakfast meeting was a lot of laughter like I've heard in the room today, camaraderie, and that generosity of spirit. Remember the rule, we have only one chance to make a first impression, and that club that morning made quite an impression on me. We had an amazing speaker, and at 8:30, boom, everyone was gone. And what I realized that morning is what I saw was busy people just like me who'd carved out just a little bit of space, a little bit of time in their busy professional and personal lives so they could be part of something bigger than who they were. Something driven by purpose and vision and heart. So as I drove to work, I thought to myself, I want a piece of that. And that's why I became a member of a Rotary Club some 20 years ago. So as I visit clubs in the district, I'm asking each of you to reflect a bit. Are you laughing? Obviously, you are in this room. Are you having fun? And are you getting what you want out of Rotary? Is your experience with Rotary living up to your expectations? If it is, fabulous. And if it is, pass that on to those 6 new Rotarians you just inducted so they can catch the spirit. Right, Thomas? Right. But if it's not happening for you, this is your club. You get involved and you make the changes. I believe Rotary International's theme, where is my chart? Right there. Engage Rotary, change lives is such a powerful theme for my year as governor. And I want it to be for each of you as well. Because the life you change the most will be your own. I invite you to remember why you wanted to join Rotary, because that will help you in inviting other people. It's not just about new members. It's about attraction. It's also about retaining members. On June 30th, 2014, if members aren't leaving for other jobs or moving away, will we still have those same members with our club? Ask yourself what is going to invite the younger members into our club. Because younger members are asking, what's in it for me? So I told you why I joined Rotary. So I'm going to tell you a story about why I stay in Rotary. So if any of you saw my Govmobile outside, it's plastered all over and it says, I joined Rotary for Business and Networking, and I stayed to change the world. It's the wheelchair story about Robert in Uganda. Our son and I were in our first year supporting a 25-year-old male who came from a family of 8 siblings in a little village in Uganda where we were supporting a school program there. Robert, a polio victim, wanted to go to school. The janitor was his father. Imagine, 25 years old, and he had still not been to school. So over coffee one morning at that 7 o'clock, Eunice, my friend, was telling the story about Robert. And she was telling our little group that for $500, we could probably replace the income of $100 that Robert was getting as a result of his basket weaving if he went to school, $100 for uniform, and $300 for each one of the 3 semesters. And I don't know, for some reason, I was moved by her story, and I said, you know what, I'll do that. We'll do that. Well, when Dr. Alice, the principal of the school, came to Canada last summer, she brought with her a video. And she said, Betty, I have a video of Robert. Would you like to see it? Of course I would. So as we played this video, I realized that what I saw was Robert dragging himself on the ground to the latrines. Remember, Robert's a polio victim. And then in the grade 3 class, when he was asked a question, I also realized that Robert is developmentally challenged. Well, within days, I knew I was going to get a wheelchair for Dr. Alice to take back. So you know, if you need something, just ask a Rotarian, you're going to get it. I got the wheelchair, and all I had to do now was convince Dr. Alice that that was her wheelchair, and she needed to convince Air Canada of the same. So our son, who's developmentally challenged, and my family, were able to give back to somebody totally across the world that I didn't know. An opportunity that our son had right here in Canada to go to a real school, to learn to be independent, to have wheels, and most importantly, dignity. So I joined Rotary for Business and Networking, yes, but I stayed to change lives. And this is only one of my many stories over the years that I have after becoming a Rotarian. I hope with all my heart that if you don't have those stories, you will create them. This moved me from being a member of a Rotary Club to being a Rotarian. And yes, I'm passionate about Rotary's big ideas and big visions and about its incredible achievements eradicating polio. And I'll introduce you to Polio Gonzo at this time, because he's my mascot and he's my buddy and he's been traveling around with me all over the place. And at the conference, I'll tell you about the kind of money that Polio Gonzo and his family raised for eradication. And I love telling this story about the wheelchair, because for me, my friends, it's a great personal story, and it's an example of how Rotary gives each and every one of us that little opportunity to make a huge impact. Well, let me step back for just a moment, because when I look out this room, I see incredible individuals who are incredibly talented. And that's what I think of when I imagine all the people and the power of us working together. We're all here as a result of our classifications and our vocations as professionals, as business people, as members of our community. And what Rotary offers each and every one of us is that precious opportunity that maybe none of us could do alone, to make an impact in ways that speak to us, sometimes about who we really are and an evaluation of that, sometimes in very quiet and very personal ways, as Robert did. So let me shift gears a bit. I want to talk a bit about the power of members working across different clubs. That's what we've done in the program in Belize. It was a seed that started about literacy. And Belize just grew and extended all its little tentacles, and pretty soon we had clubs doing playgrounds and adopt a school. And pretty soon we became had a partnership with the Emmanuel Foundation, which is a Christian organization that worked with us in partnership of putting these playgrounds up. Let's take it to a bigger scale and think of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They have now been the biggest supporters of polio eradication. So we have an opportunity of finding a way to support a community through maybe the Rotary Aboriginal program. And I know you know about it because I heard you talking about it in executive, so I'm thrilled. The Amisquachee Academy in Edmonton chartered their first Aboriginal Interact Club. And I was at that charter. And I'm here to tell you that I was so proud of these young people. What I saw was strong leaders speaking in their own language, learning their dances, working with the elders, cooking the food and serving us, and excited about being in school and excited about graduating. And I'm thinking, Rotary has had a part in this. The Rotary Employment Partnership Program. Do we know about that program here? The one that's opening doors for people with developmental disabilities. It's your doors. You're opening them up for people with disabilities for real jobs. So why do I get so excited about these kind of programs? Because it tells me, it shows me the power of what we can do when we harness all of that passion we've got, all of that knowledge and the abilities of our fellow Rotarians across different clubs. And I know that you're doing it right here because you're working with Stony Plain. And when I just think of all the clubs, if we partner up, especially when we move in to the areas of focus and global grants, we are going to need to be partnering. That's what Future Vision is all about. It's simply a different way of doing grants and working collaboratively. Last year, our district developed a database, or rolled out a database, that's been evolving and developing over the years. And I mention it even though you have a member in your club who actually developed that program, probably single-handedly, but it's rolled out now, and Brad Steller has been integral in that process. But I mention it because I want you to go on the district website, and I want you to go to services and go to that database and look at all the programs that are happening in our district. It's amazing. And this will give us an opportunity to see what kind of money in our district we're spending in our community, but more importantly, it'll help us connect to each other. Let's say that you want to do a project with First Nations. If you go on there and do a search, you're going to find Fort McMurray Imagine Library Program. I believe it's already on, Brad. Very exciting and an amazing program, and you could just call them and you could learn how they did that and just piggyback off that. I'd like to describe it like a kind of e-harmony of Rotary clubs. It'll allow you to find each other as partners, and you already have trust in each other. So, as you continue to move forward with this absolutely amazing club that is doing so much, I'd like to ask you to remember and reflect on 3 things. First, are you getting what you want out of Rotary? To pay attention to those little opportunities that just magically appear, like the conversation about water. From fellow Rotarians, or maybe you hear something in a community that is a great need. Seize those little opportunities to make a big impact right here in your community. I'm so disappointed that I'm not having a chance today to meet the young man who is working on your membership, because he is doing an amazing job of connecting with the community, and it's all of our jobs. So search for and invite amazing people into your club. And if you take on that challenge, you and your club will continue to thrive, and you will continue to grow and be here 20 to 40 years from now, still making a difference right here in Spruce Grove. You know, George was a member, my husband was a member of the Kinsman Club in Sherwood Park, and we built the playgrounds. We worked so hard with our fellow kin, but you know what? There is no Kinsman Club in Sherwood Park any longer. Let's make sure 20 to 40 years from now, we still have Rotary right here in Spruce Grove, because your club's legacy, first and foremost, is about, and you have used the word at the executive, and that is continuity and sustainability. So I've asked all of our district committee in our district strategic plan to apply these concepts to everything we are doing and how we manage our district. And I'm asking you to do the same in your clubs. And I know that you're doing that because I can see your organizational chart. So thank you. Membership must be high on your radar this year and should be an integral component of your goals, and I already know it is. You started in the beginning of the year, I believe, with 44 or 45 members, and you're up to 53 or 54, somewhere around there. So yes, I'm asking you to attract new people and engage the ones that you're bringing in and the ones that are already here, to make sure that they're involved, and I know you have a plan in place. And I know that I have a good idea of what this club is going to look like on June 30th, 2014. So I'd like you to the second thing I'd like you to do is to remember the power of that connection between clubs, between teams right here, and between vocations. Maybe sit together as you are today without a program as you do once a month. Wow, what a great opportunity for you. Amazing leadership. And just talk about the most audacious projects that you could do in the world. Because that's how we developed polio. It was just people sitting in a room in 1985 saying, let's eradicate polio in the world. Are you kidding me? Well, here we are in 2013, and we're close. The third thing I'd like you to remember is a special challenge I'm going to leave you with, and I know that you're already doing it. So maybe that means stepping it up to something even bigger, and that's all about polio and dedicating a project. Now, it's my understanding that for speakers, you make a donation to polio on behalf of the speaker, which is just totally amazing, so that's great. This looks like this is the critical year from polio, and we discussed it at our table earlier that there's been an outbreak in Serbia, and I'm following up on that just to see what's going on and how we're going to get into Serbia so that we can arrest what is happening. The last 3 endemic countries, my friends, are applying the lessons that we learned in India. Nobody could tell an Indian 3 years ago that we couldn't eradicate polio in India. It wouldn't happen. But it did happen, and they've been polio-free for 2 years. So, World Health Organization and UNICEF and Rotary are taking what we learned from India. And just recently, 5,000 additional polio workers have been deployed to the toughest areas of Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Nigeria. And just about a month ago, I read the message from Bob Scott, our chair of polio, that we are 99% polio-free in Nigeria. That's great, absolutely great. This year, I was lucky enough to collaborate with the district governor to our south, Pat Kaloran in District 5360. We found matching dollars. And the people who attended the conference would tell you that Heather Klimchuk was there, and she made the announcement that the Alberta government this year will match dollar for dollar with every dollar that we raise in this district and the district to the south to a tune of $350,000, which means our district needs to come up with $175,000. So I just want to show you how easy this is. Polio Gonzo at the conference, well, he came with his family, and so there was a gonzo at each one of the tables at the Friday lunch where we invited the general public to come in. And we put an envelope with tickets inside and asked people if they'd like to donate to polio. That would be great. And whoever pulled out the number got to take Polio Gonzo home with them. Now, if you spend any time on our district Facebook site as well, it's getting pretty exciting because we have clubs competing against each other. And I just had an offer for $50 the other day to buy Polio Gonzo. And I'm done, so I'm not selling them, is what I'm saying. I'm done because there's none left. But this is the way it worked. We got $3,260, actually it was $3,600 from that luncheon that day. So with the donation from the matching dollars from the province of Alberta, that $3,600 turned into $7,200. Now remember, in Lisbon, the Bill and Melinda Gates indicated 2 to 1 they would match our dollars. So if you take that $7,200 and you match that again with the Gates Foundation, we now have another 14,400. Let's add that 14,400 and 7,200, and that little gonzo guy at that luncheon made $21,600 that we can donate to polio. So that's the magic of the matching funds this year. And in a couple weeks, watch for an email, Nizar from Betty. Do not delete me, because I know I get deleted quite often. Because I have a surprise coming, and we have anonymous funds that are being collected in a pot of money that we're going to get one more match, and I'm going to let you know how that's going to work. So if you were going to send in money in the next couple of weeks, just hang on a bit, okay? And I've asked all of our presidents to donate to the foundation this year and to the annual giving fund, because I really believe we have to walk the talk and we have to lead. Let me tell you a little bit more about our conference, and I want to show a video to you of Emmanuel Kelly. I think the reason, Emmanuel Kelly was my dream. This is a young man with prosthesis for legs, prosthesis for arms. He was found, and I will let you know where he's found when we play the video. But for me, when I watched him on the videotape the day before I had my first conference meeting, I knew this is who I wanted to bring to the conference. And as I started to do the research on him, I found his mother. And I thought we need to bring his mother as well. And then I thought, how are we going to bring him here? They're from Australia. But if you dream it, and if you want it, it'll happen. And they were there. And I think that they just, for me, I wanted to share with the members of the district that came to the conference that incredible human spirit that we have that just simply just goes on and on and on. So if you play that for me, that'd be great.